at this. The next coming codes are HE, high engine temperature. LCL, low coolant level. LOC, loss of cooling. They are pretty related, but they are different. And there is another one, is this one, high exhaust gases, temperature. Okay, pay attention. We are going to analyze the first one, high engine temperature. High engine temperature is a problem related exclusive on the engine. The temperature of the engine is going up for different reasons. You remember that yesterday we did the complete harness, the wiring of the complete harness, and we installed the temperature gauge, coolant temperature gauge, and we installed the oil pressure gauge. When you have a temperature problem, it's because before of that problem, you had a problem of a bad lubrication. When you have a bad lubrication in some area, finally the metals touch. And when the metal touch, the temperature increase. And now you have a high temperature. This is because originally you have a bad lubrication over there. For that reason, my recommendation is this. When you have high engine temperature, ask to the customer. Remember that in the main control box of the generator or the remote, you have engine temperature and oil pressure. Engine temperature and oil pressure. Ask to them, the needle, the gauge of engine temperature is higher than the normal position? Yes, it's a little higher than the normal. Okay, it's a problem related with coolant, thermostat housing, thermostat, radiator cap. Yeah, it's a temperature related with the engine. Excuse me, the oil pressure, the needle of the oil pressure is exactly in the position that normally is. No, it's a little low, Mr. Lopez. All right. You have a big issue in your motor and the oil pressure decrease. If you have low oil pressure and this one at the same time, you have a big issue in the engine. And you need call an expert in engines. Probably he take a sample of oil, sent to the laboratory, and with that sample you can discover where is the problem. I am going to explain that procedure using my poster about the analysis of the oil, analysis of the coolant. All right, guys? And the recommendation is, some manufacturers say, can I use the generator? No, my friend, no. If that code is activated, you need to solve the mechanical problem in the engine, and after that try to use the generator. Okay, this is related with temperature on the engine. Look at this code. The code is low coolant level. This is not complicated. Basically, the level of coolant, normally, look at this. This is the generator. This is the expansion tank or radiator cap. And here is located the plastic container with the coolant. Okay, you need to verify if the coolant is going down to the normal position. Yes, the coolant reservoir, the plastic container is empty. Okay, if the plastic container is empty, 100% sure you have a leak of coolant. The coolant is, I have a little amount of coolant here. Okay, you have a leak, and this is why the coolant is leaking. Or no, I don't have a leak, but the reservoir is empty. And I filled 2 weeks ago, and right now it's empty again. But I don't have leaks here. What happened? You have two possibilities. The coolant is mixed with the oil. When I check the oil here, oh yeah, I have milky oil. Or let me start the generator and I check outside of my boat. Oh yeah, I see a film of coolant on the water. The coolant is going out. Both of them are critical problems. It's an internal problem in the engine. If the coolant is going down, you have a serious issue in the engine. Ready, guys? Okay, look at this. LOC, loss of cooling. The people always relate this one with this one, and it's completely different. Do you remember that I explained the main difference in between an automotive engine and a marine engine? The engine is the same? It's exactly the same. What is the difference? The cooling system in your car, the coolant goes out into the radiator and return. And the radiator have a fan in front. You remember? Yeah. In your boat, the coolant goes out into the heat exchanger and the coolant return. And the coolant is cooled with salt water. That's the difference. In this one I have heat exchanger. In the other one I have a radiator, external radiator. That's clear? You remember I spent one class explaining that here we have that heat exchanger. And here in the bottom we have the exhaust manifold, you remember?
Yeah.
And here in this point is mixed the gases with salt water. Look at the salt water pass here, and the salt water enter here. In this point, in this particular point, you see, the gases and the salt water are mixed. When I have this code activated, loss of cooling is because this sensor sense that the temperature of this pipe, this elbow, is high. Why? Because no raw water is flowing here.
No raw water. Yeah.
Or less amount. I have lack of raw water, basically. That's okay? How the computer in this generator sense that problem? Because this sensor, what is the name of that sensor? Exhaust gas temperature sensor. Really is a switch, because when the temperature, look at this, and this cable is the purple cable. You remember the purple cable? The cable that supply power for the fuel pump, for the solenoid, for everything. That purple cable pass here and continue. And this is a normally closed switch. When the temperature of this element is normal, the switch is closed. When the temperature of this metal pass the limit, what happened? Open. And what happened with the purple cable?
Interrupted.
It's interrupted, and no fuel pump, and the engine is stopped. And what did the code produce? LOC. Oh, in some manufacture is high exhaust temperature gases. Depending on the manufacturer, the symbol is different. This is color use loss LOC. But the other manufacturer, they have high exhaust temperature. Now we are going to talk about the code that you know, because we mentioned before. UF, depending on the manufacturer, some manufacturers they say UF or LF, low frequency, or under frequency, depending on the manufacturer. What about that code? It's related with what? Engine, fuel, air, mechanical problem, no? On the engine. What about the next code? OF, over frequency or high frequency. Governor, mechanical problems on the governor. Look at this code. Depending on the manufacturer, is UU, under voltage, or UV, under voltage, or low voltage, depending on the manufacturer. Low voltage, under voltage. That code have different interpretations, no? If the voltage is ultra low or a little low. If it's a little, where can you fix it? Voltage regulator. If it's high low voltage, you need verify the condition of the winding in the back end. If that problem is recurrent, you have a problem in the winding, in the back end. Okay, suddenly 3 years later, cure that problem and you fix it and no more. But if each 2 months you need calibrate voltage, you have a problem in the back end. The next one is over voltage or high voltage. Exactly the same. Exactly the same that the previous one. If it's small, you can calibrate with the voltage regulator. If it's ultra high, you have 2 possibilities. One possibility is check the neutral, remember? And the other one, of course, check the condition of the winding.